There are tons of dinosaur mods for Minecraft, so it can be a little hard to find the best one. I've done a trilogy ranking these mods purely based off of one type of dinosaur, and they did really well. And well, views have been down lately, so... The premise of this video is that I will be ranking dinosaur mods purely based on their T-Rex. If a dinosaur mod does not have a T-Rex, then it will be sent to the pits of F tier. So let's get into it, shall we? So, here we have all of the mods that we are going to be playing today, and we'll be going through them in version order. And here we have the tier list. As you can see, all of the mods are on here, and we will be ranking them all here. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so the first mod we have is called Primeval. Now this is a 1.7 mod, and looking at the search bar here, if we type in something like T-Rex or Tyrannosaurus, unfortunately there is no T-Rex, so this mod is going to have to go into the F tier. Let's move on to the next mod. Okay, so the next mod that we'll be playing is called Prehistoric Nature. Now, having a look once again into the search bar, if we type in something like T-Rex or Tyrannosaurus, unfortunately we do not get a Tyrannosaurus. So, once again, this mod is going to have to go into F tier. Let's move on to the next mod. Okay, so the next mod we're playing is De-Extinction. Now this is a mod for 1.16, and having a look at the search bar, if we type in something like T-Rex or Tyrannosaurus, unfortunately there are no T-Rexes in this mod, so this one is also going to have to go down into F tier. Okay, so the next mod that we have is AlternaCraft. Now this is a 1.18 mod that adds a few dinosaurs. And looking here, if we type in Tyrannosaurus, as you can see, there is a Tyrannosaurus Rex spawn egg. So let's spawn it in and see how accurate it is. Now, looking at this dinosaur model, I actually really like how it looks. The textures are very smooth on this, but it's important to know how accurate it actually is. So let's have a look. So from what I can see, T-Rexes were usually around 4 meters tall, 12 meters long, and 2 meters wide. So putting this to our ruler here, let's place it down and see if it's accurate size. So as you can see, it is a little bit over 2 meters wide, however, it's pretty close. It is also a little bit over 12 meters long, and as you can see, it is just a bit over 4 meters tall. So overall, it's just a little bit bigger, but has roughly the same area, just scaled up. Another feature that I like, as you can probably see by what it just did there, it does actually kill different animals, and will seek them out. However, unfortunately, it does come at the downside that there are not many T-Rex based items, only having the spawn egg. So, overall, I think I'm going to place this one into the B tier, because whilst it's very accurate, it is missing T-Rex inspired items, and it is also a little bit too scaled up. So let's move on to the next mod. Okay, so the next mod on our list is called Jurassic Reborn. Now this is a 1.18 mod that adds quite a lot of dinosaurs and dinosaur related items. Now looking in the search bar here, we can type and see there are tons of T-Rex based items. To start with, we're going to use the spawn egg and see how it looks. Looking at this is a really large T-Rex, and the sound effects on it are actually really nice. As you can see, it also has babies, and it has different variants. Now, looking at the different items, we have things such as an action figure, which can be placed similarly to an armor stand, and actually has different sizes. Next up, we have a skeleton, which could be used for things like museums. Additionally, we also have a fossilized skeleton, which is just like the other one, but fossilized. And it actually looks really cool, giving different variety to which ones you have. Additionally, we also have some different signs. which could be used for things like a museum or a reserve. There's also another one without the foliage, in case you want something like that. So, putting it into the ruler, we can see that it is a lot taller than the average T-Rex. Additionally, we can see that it is a lot longer than the average T-Rex, and a lot wider, so that is going to deduct some points for accuracy. So, overall, I'm going to rank this mod at an A tier, as whilst it does have tons of different dinosaur items, it is not very accurate to the average T-Rex. So, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Okay, so the next mod on our list is called Alex's Caves. Now, this is a very popular cave mod for 1.20. However, in one of the caves, it adds some dinosaurs. So we're going to see how it adds the T-Rex. Now, typing into the search bar, we can see that there is a Tyrannosaurus, just renamed to Tremosaurus. So let's place it down. So as you can see, it is a pretty small T-Rex. However, the textures do look quite nice. Additionally, it also adds an egg, which I assume is going to be like the sniffer. However, other than these two things, there is not actually that much in terms of T-Rex items. So let's see how accurate the T-Rex is. Okay, so once again, placing in the ruler, we can see that the Tremosaurus is a lot smaller. However, it is roughly the same height as an average T-Rex, and the same width. It is only missing the length. So overall, it is somewhat accurate. Once again, just missing the length. Overall, I'm going to put this mod into a high B tier, because whilst it doesn't add too many items to do with the T-Rex, it is fairly accurate to a regular T-Rex. However, it is just missing that accuracy to be able to go into A tier. Let's move on. Okay, so the next mod on our list is Fossils and Archeology Revival. Now this is another 1.20 mod that adds quite a few dinosaurs. So let's have a look if it adds any T-Rexes. Typing in Tyrannosaurus, we can see there are a lot of different items when it comes to the T-Rex. So let's spawn it in and see how it looks. Spawning it in, we can see that it looks really nice, utilising quite large textures to make it look better. Once again, putting down the ruler, we can see the T-Rex is roughly the same height as the average T-Rex. Additionally, it is also around the same width, and looking at its length, it is just a little bit smaller than the average T-Rex, but just by the tiniest margin. So overall, it is very accurate. Additionally, as we can see, there are tons of different fossils and other items to do with the T-Rex. Overall, I'm going to give this mod an S tier, as it is very accurate to the average dinosaur, and it adds a ton of different items. Let's move on to the next dinosaur mod. The next mod on our list is called DragN's Deadly Dinos. This is another 1.20 mod that adds a ton of different dinosaurs. However, unfortunately, typing into the search bar something to do with Tyrannosaurus or T-Rex, you can see that there unfortunately is no T-Rex. So this mod is going to have to go into the F tier. Let's move on. Okay, so the next mod on our list is called the Prehistoric World. Now this mod adds quite a few different dinos, so let's see if the T-Rex is one of those. Typing into the search bar, we can see that there are a few Tyrannosaurus items and also a spawn egg. So spawning it in, we can see that it does have quite a simple but nice texture. However, the animation is a little bit lacking. A good part of this is that they do actually kill the mobs around them, so they do have different interactions. Putting down the ruler, we can see that these dinosaurs are a decent bit larger than a regular T-Rex, being about 2 meters taller and about 1 meter wider, with a large difference in its length. Overall, I'm going to give this dinosaur mod a B tier, as unfortunately it is a bit lacking in some areas. However, it does add a few different items. So let's move on to the next dinosaur mod. Okay, so the next one on our list is called Pelagic Prehistory. Now this is a 1.21 mod, and let's see if it has any T-Rexes. Typing in T-Rex or Tyrannosaurus, unfortunately there is no T-Rex in this mod. So it is going to have to go down into F tier. Let's move on to the next mod. Okay, so the next mod on our list is called Minejurassic. This is another 1.21 mod. So let's see if it has a Tyrannosaurus. Now, typing into the search bar, we can see there are some T-Rex based items. However, there is no T-Rex. So, while this can't go in F tier, as it does have some T-Rex based items, this will be going into D tier, as it has no T-Rex itself. However, it is always worth having a look at what these look like. So let's have a look. So as you can see, there is quite a lot of detail in this sign here, being a full 3D model that you can place on the ground, like so. Additionally, there is also another sign to do with the T-Rex. But, as I said earlier, this is going to have to go into D tier. So, let's move on to the next mod. Okay, so the next and last mod on our list is called ShineaL's Prehistoric Expansion. Now, this is a 1.21 mod that does add a few different dinosaurs. So let's see if the T-Rex is one of those. Typing into the search bar, we can see that unfortunately there is no T-Rex based items or a T-Rex itself. So this mod is going to have to go down into F tier. So there you have it, there's my list. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like and maybe share it with your friends. Also, if you want to subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to suggest a dinosaur to be put into the next one, as I may do another one if this does well, put it down into the comment section and I'll be sure to have a look. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.